Thank you, Sarah. See, I told you guys I would forget as soon as I started. I just go blank. So we'll start again then. So good morning, everyone. My name is Lori Blanton. I work for UC International Services. I am an assistant director, and I just am so thrilled and excited that you have joined us this morning, and really excited that you have chosen to pursue your higher education at the University of Cincinnati. Today's session will include both some pre-recorded videos and this live panel presentation. I want everyone to have a chance that's on the presenting panel to introduce themselves. So Katie, go ahead and say good morning.
Good morning. My name is Katie, excuse me, and I work as a program coordinator with Lori. I'm very happy you're all here.
Kelly?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Plazabat. I also work as a program coordinator. Thanks for coming, and happy that you're here. And I hope to see you in the breakout session on academic success after this.
That's Kelly's session, so she's giving it a plug, you guys. James?
Yeah, good morning. My name is James with UC International Services, and I want to join Lori and everyone else saying, welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Sarah?
Good morning, everyone. Happy almost fall semester. My name is Sarah O'Connell, and I'm one of the international student advisors on our team. So here to help you with all of your immigration concerns. I'm very happy you all made it.
And we're pleased to also welcome Amanda Donor from University Health Services.
Hi, like she said, my name is Amanda Donor. I'm a program manager with University Health Services, and I'll kind of be going over who we are and what services we can offer you.
And finally, I introduce Susan Autran. She is here. She's joining us from the UC Public Health Response Team. Susan?
Good morning, Bearcats. Welcome. And I am Susan Autran, and I'll tell you a little bit more about our services as well later on.
All right, so we plan to answer questions regarding your immigration status this morning, your options and rights as an international student in the U.S. We also hope to connect you to some campus and community resources that'll help keep you informed. And we're going to share some event and workshop details to help you feel like you're part of UC and really part of our Bearcat family. And I think that, we have cleared up who Amanda and Susan are, and that they'll be presenting a little bit later this morning. And I think I've mentioned too, after this presentation, we're going to offer 2 simultaneous breakout sessions. Again, one on student success at UC and the other on on-campus employment. So links to these sessions will be provided at the end in our main chat session over there in the chat function.
So some general reminders for the session today. This is going to be an informational session with opportunities for you to ask questions. This first section, which is going to be about 30 minutes, we're going to be presenting you with a lot of information. So we're going to try and keep it engaging with a mix of videos and live conversations. So please kind of bear with us for any technical difficulties we might experience as we switch between these elements. During these informational sessions, you'll want to remain muted and your video should be off. Save your questions for the Q&A session at the end, which we will conduct at the end. You can also put questions in the chat at any time, and we will try and answer them during the question and answer session. Very specific and personal questions, so things that are not broadly applicable, you'll want to email us, and I will put that in the chat right now. Give me one moment. So you can email any very personal, specific questions about your status and whatnot here. About the buttons and functions in this room, you can switch between gallery view, which is seeing everyone, or just the speaker view by clicking on the option in the top right corner. The chat button is also at the bottom of your screen, so if you want to type questions in there, go right ahead. If you, for any reason, get disconnected, these sessions, like we said, will be recorded, and we will be posting those links in our UCI Services newsletter and on our YouTube channel. If you still have more questions and you don't want to ask them here today, you are more than welcome to visit our weekly virtual office hours. Actually, we have one today on Thursdays at 3 p.m. We'll remind you about this again at the end of the presentation. Remember, like we've said, there will be 2 breakout sessions at the end of this main presentation that might be useful to you that we recommend attending, either on-campus employment and student success, or student success at a U.S. college. So those are 2 separate. Links to these sessions will be made available in the chat box following this main session. So now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me know if the sound is working okay. I'm going to do share sound. And let's get right into it.
Welcome to the University of Cincinnati. As an international student, you are a valued member of our global community here at UC.
Today, we are going to introduce you to a little bit of your home away from home, which is UC International.
So UC International is comprised of 4 units. We have our planning department,
Study abroad,
international admissions,
and international services.
everyone is here to help you throughout your educational journey at UC.
So let's go check in with our staff at UC International and see how they can help you along the way. UC International is on the 7th floor at Edward Center 1.
Whenever you have questions or concerns, you can always find help here.
Follow us.
And we'll go take a look.
Hello everyone, welcome to the University of Cincinnati. My name is Ron Cushing and I'm the Director of UC International Services. On behalf of our office and the entire university community, I want to welcome you to the University of Cincinnati. We are honored that you've decided to pursue your educational objectives with us, and we're going to do everything we can to ensure that your experience here is a positive one. We know that your decision to study in the United States and here at UC was made after months, if not years, of hard work, dedication, and tough decisions by you and your family. You need to understand that the challenge you are about to embark upon is going to be a difficult one, but it will also be rewarding. Our office is going to help you meet those challenges and obtain those rewards. You should know that you're joining a very large and exciting international community. You're going to be part of more than 3,000 enrolled international students from more than 100 different countries from across the world. UC International Services is responsible for making sure that you understand all the rules and regulations that you need to follow as an international student and providing you with the proper authorizations along the way. While you're studying, you're going to need to travel. Many of you are in programs that involve co-op or capstones that require work assignments during your stay. You may change your degree level or your program of study. Some of you may have dependents who need to come and be with you. There's a whole host of immigration regulations you need to follow, and we're going to make sure you understand those rules and provide you with the proper authorizations. We have highly trained staff who are available to help answer all of your questions, and we encourage you to contact us when you need help. Please make sure you address all immigration and visa questions to our office. Don't ask your friends, don't ask your college advisor or your departmental advisor. Make sure all visa and immigration questions are addressed to our staff. We also provide you with a host of programming activities during your stay here. Certainly during the first few weeks, you're going to be invited to participate in a lot of welcome and arrival activities. And then throughout your stay, we are going to provide you with opportunities to engage in programs that will help you learn about U.S. culture, the university, the city of Cincinnati, and the U.S. in general. I can assure you that the students who take advantage of those opportunities are the students that leave here with the most positive experiences. So please take advantage of those programs when you have the opportunities. So welcome to UC. We look forward to helping you obtain all of your personal and academic objectives.
As Ron mentioned, UC International is here mainly for immigration advising and student support.
Let's check in with some of our international advisors and learn from them all that we can about keeping up to date your visa.
Unmute myself there. Well, welcome everyone. My name is James. I'm with UC International Services, and we're so glad that you're here. And we're so glad that you decided to come to UC to pursue your academic goals and your career goals and your life goals, all those things. What we're going to do today is talk a little bit about some of the rules and regulations pertaining to your F1 status. Everything we're going to talk about today is located on our website, UC International Services, including our contact information. We appreciate all the hard work you've put into getting here. And so please contact us if you have any questions whatsoever. Our phone number is 513-556-4278, or you can email us at international.students@uc.edu. We're also here every day, Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you can always walk in and ask to speak to the advisor today, and we can try to address your questions in person.
You'll find that most of our services start with iBearcats Global. You should be pretty familiar with the system by now. Before arriving on campus, you've been logging in with the new student option. This is when you put in your M number, a PIN number that we sent you, and your date of birth. It's really important that you complete the pre-arrival checklist through the resources and regulation steps after arriving to the US. This is how we process your immigration record, and if you don't complete it, it could put your status in jeopardy. Likewise, it's a requirement of your immigration status to keep our office updated with things like your local address and your phone number. You can update these in Catalyst under the My Profile tile. Your address here in Cincinnati should be updated with the mailing address option, and you can find examples of how to correctly format a US address in the pre-arrival checklist under the Mandatory Personal Information tab. After arrival to the US, and once you've completed that pre-arrival checklist, you will want to start logging into iBearcats Global using the current student option. This is going to take you to the main UC login page where you'll use your UC username and password, just like when you log into Catalyst, your UC email, other systems at UC. The full range of services for you as a student that you'll need after you arrive won't be available in that limited services or new student section. So it's really important, once you're done with that pre-arrival checklist, start using the current student option. That way you can see things like travel signatures, extensions, a more full range of options for you. So immigration rules, they can change often. They're confusing even in the best of times. So definitely during the pandemic, we've been here to help students. Today, we're here to try and make it clear what the rules are for this upcoming semester, fall 2022.
So your full-time enrollment must be at least 12 credit hours at the undergraduate level, or if you are a graduate student, you must be enrolled for at least 10 credits. You can use one course, 3 credit hours, of online courses to meet that full-time requirement. You can register for more online courses, but only 3 credits will count towards a full-time enrollment of 12 or 10. So make sure you keep that in mind. Courses that are listed MD or DL, which are mostly distance or distance learning, are considered online courses. Courses that are listed as in-person or partially distance count as in-person. Now, if for some reason you're having an academic struggle or either medical situation, and you feel like you need to drop down below the full-time requirement, this is possible under certain circumstances. What I recommend you do, though, before you drop those courses, is review our reduced course load e-form in iBearcats Global to review what those rules are, and then submit that e-form. Once the e-form has been approved, you can then drop below full-time for that particular semester.
Your I-20 or DS 2019 identifies who you are and what you're doing here in the US. For example, it shows which school you're studying at and what degree you're pursuing. It also tells you and our office how much time you have left to complete that degree. If you're going to change plans, maybe you're changing your major, maybe you're advancing to a new degree level, maybe you need more time for your current degree level, or maybe you're thinking about going to a new school, you will need a new I-20 for this or DS 2019. You could do most of these things by requesting them through iBearCats Global. What's really important to keep in mind is that if you need more time to complete your current program, meaning your DS 2019 or I-20 are expiring soon, and you know you can't finish by that date, you need to request the extension in advance of that expiration date. If you submit it after, it's a bigger problem. So make sure to submit it early or contact our office if you're unclear on what to do. Keep in mind, however, it is okay for your F1 or J1 visa stamp in your passport to expire. That usually confuses students and they get a little nervous if they see that it's expired. You're not required to renew it while you're here in the US. It's fine for it to expire. If you do travel after the expiration date, you will need to renew it at the US Embassy or Consulate in your home country in order to return. You cannot renew a visa inside of the US. Your passport, however, we do want to always keep that current, and that is something you can renew here inside of the US with your home country's embassy or consulate here in the States. So you should always make sure to keep your passport and your I-20 current, the visa stamp okay to expire until the next time you travel internationally.
So traveling internationally, maybe you want to go home for the winter break or perhaps even next summer semester. How do you do that? Well, you're going to need to request a travel signature to be placed on page 2 of your I-20 or page 1 of your DS 2019 if you are in J1 status. And guess where you can request that? That's right, in iBearCats Global. There's an e-form there that you can submit that gives us some very basic details of what your upcoming trip looks like so we can do some checks. And then we'll send you an I-20 with the travel signature or have you come into our office with your DS 2019 so we can put that travel signature on your document. Most of our processes through iBearCats Global will take 5 business days. So plan ahead. If you have an emergency trip, come see us immediately. But if you can, please plan ahead. And as soon as you have your travel arrangements made, submit the e-form so we have plenty of time to get that process completed and get the travel signature that you need.
So on-campus employment is something you might be interested in. As an F1 or J1 student, you can work on campus up to 20 hours per week in the fall and spring semesters, and more than 20 hours per week during breaks like summer, spring, or winter. When you've been offered an on-campus job, whether it's with a UC office or a non-UC employer, such as in food services, please log into iBearCats Global and submit the employment eligibility verification / onboarding e-form, and we will help you complete the hiring process. We'll also have a breakout session after this that will talk more about this process. OPT and CPT are types of off-campus work permits. These are to help you obtain practical experience for things you're learning about in your degree program. Most of you won't need or qualify for these work authorizations in your first academic year of study, but it's good to keep them in mind as you get further into your career. And we've got details located on our website and in iBearCats Global.
Now, taxes can be really confusing for most Americans, let alone if you're unfamiliar with how this country works with taxes. All that you need to know right now is that every year our office provides assistance with this. And if you are in F1, J1, F2, or J2 status, you are required to file a report, which is called a return, to the US government, even if you earned no money. Those of you who earned no US income, you'll find that filing the return is very, very easy and very straightforward. And again, we'll provide assistance with that. In January, February of next year, we will start sending out emails and newsletter items about how to do your tax return for the previous year. So be sure to always check your UC email for important details like that, but also any official UC business. Now, we're hopeful that we'll try to get back to normal as much as we possibly can this semester after or even during the remains of what's left of the pandemic. But make sure you are registered for fall semester full time. And if you have any questions, please do let us know. These rules and regulations can change at any time, and we'll do our best to make sure you are informed of those by letting you know through your UC email account. So don't let that lapse. Please do check that regularly for any kind of updates or information about important stuff, but also fun stuff too. Like we do trips and activities around the area designed just for you to experience America. So again, thank you so much for choosing UC. We're glad you're here. We really are glad you're here. And again, if we could ever help you out with anything, even just to point you out in the right direction, please let us know. Sometimes your friends and professors mean well, but they may not have the most up-to-date information about what you can and cannot do. Okay, and so next we have Lori. Nope, we have a video.
The UC International website is filled with tons of resources and information about your visa, the university, and more. If you ever have a question or want to know where to go, consider our website your first stop. However, much of the way you'll interact with our office involves using our online system, iBearcats Global. Up until this point, you've probably been using the limited services. Now you can use the full services for students and scholars to submit e-forms, make requests, and more. Sagar, an international student in engineering, was on co-op last semester. In order to do co-op, he had to get authorization for CPT. Let's hear his advice about how to work with our office to get CPT authorization.
For the CPT process, I think it has been really helpful keeping in touch with UC International. I definitely think it's a learning curve. You kind of need to understand how the CPT process works. So my first few times, I would say, I wasn't sure what to do. So what I did was I set up an appointment with the immigration officer. Within 2 days, you can get the appointment. You can go and talk to them about, any questions you have. After submitting the request on iBearcats Global, usually what I do is follow up next day with them over the phone, just calling the reception office, and they're pretty responsive. Even if there's a delay, they would let you know that we'll get to you in 2 days or 3 days, and it's been a pretty smooth process. In general, they were really helpful and friendly in answering all the questions I have.
Hey Bearcats! Welcome to UC.
In addition to the immigration services that we provide, UC International also provides a welcoming, inclusive, and safe space for international students. We can give you resources, strategies, and tools to help you accommodate to life at UC and in Cincinnati. Here's just a small example of the events that we've put on in years past.
Favorite part interacting with UC International and all the community around here was knowing someone from a country in Europe is equal to like traveling through their eyes and understanding how their country is. So that was really precious, I think.
IPALS to me is where you can make friends from around the world and also learn their experiences, share your experiences as well, along with we can support and help each other along the ways. My freshman year, I wish I learned about IPALS, how I could have made all the friends I have now earlier on and all the opportunities I could have joined before as well.
I think one advice I would like to give international students would be to get out of your comfort zone. Sometimes things can be very frustrating and it could be a lot of work. But once you step out, try to learn about new things, try to learn about the culture in the US, it just starts becoming more and more beautiful, and it comes easier to, like make new friends and just understand the differences we have and just embrace it together.
So we gave you just a little bit of a deja vu there at the end. No worries, just a little bit, again, some technical difficulties. So I think that we just want to let you know that we're here to provide, social and academic support so that you have a really holistic and positive experience at UC. Again, our team includes me, Katie, and Kelly. We also have two wonderful graduate assistants, Melani and Jessica, who you'll see if you come to our events and some of our meetups. We're going to communicate with you through Instagram, Facebook, Campus Link, and our weekly newsletter. If you aren't following us on social media, we certainly encourage you to start today. The newsletter will show up in your UC inbox on Tuesdays. Katie does oversee the mailing of our newsletter. It's going to include immigration updates and UC event listings. And then on the first Tuesday of the month, we'll have some campus and community resources as well. I recommend that you read it thoroughly each week. Most of our events this fall and our workshops will be in person. Information again on how you can attend these events and access these resources will be shared via social media, Campus Link, and our weekly newsletter.
As you saw in the video, we have a fantastic student group, the International Partners and Leaders, or IPELS, which includes both domestic and international students, grads and undergrad students, and they will be on hand at these events to extend a peer-to-peer welcome and are available for your questions. So you can reach out to them. They are a fantastic resource, and you should be able to identify them by their iPals t-shirts and smiling faces.
This year, UC International will also focus on providing academic support for international students. So I'm the new program coordinator and academic support liaison. I can help you connect with your academic advisor or professors, provide academic workshops on topics that you might be unfamiliar with, and connect you to campus resources to ensure that you can be successful academically at UC. UC International hosts a weekly English conversation group every Thursday evening that you are welcome to attend. It is a casual opportunity to improve and practice English language skills or act as a conversation partner to help others improve their skills in a fun, casual space. It's also another good way to meet new people. Information about how you can join the group will appear in our newsletter. So we would like to encourage you to reach out to us with any questions and remind you again how you can get in touch. Our office is open Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 in Edwards Center 1, Suite 7148. And this will all again be posted in the chat. You may call 513-556-4278 or email us at international.students@uc.edu. We also host a weekly virtual Ask an Advisor session that is on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time via Zoom. And finally, the website also has a wealth of information. So we'll post all that. I think it's all in the chat now. Awesome.
I think it's all there, and we are ready to turn the the presentation over to University Health Services. So Amanda, if you'd like to share your screen and share some information, we're ready.
Sure, give me just a second. All right, let me know if you can hear it or see it. I'm sorry.
We can see it and we can hear it.
Okay. All right. So like I said, my name is Amanda. I am a program manager with University Health Services. And I'm just going to briefly go over who we are, where we are, what kind of services we offer, and how we can help you. And then I'm going to get into the immunization requirements and some specifics on the TB testing, which is a requirement for international students. So we have two locations on campus, actually. One is over on the medical campus, so it likely won't be used much by you guys. Our main campus location is at the Lindner Athletic Center. I have a photo here. It's the big gray building with the triangle windows right by Nippert Stadium. We're located on the 3rd floor. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. Aside from Wednesdays, when it's 9:30 to 5, but we're here every day. We are not here on the weekends and evenings, but we do have an on-call doctor at all times. Services provided. So we are a by appointment clinic. It's not like a walk-in clinic, like an urgent care type situation. We are by appointment. We can often get same-day appointments. When you do call, you'll be connected with a nurse, and they'll assess the situation if you're sick or if you're injured, and get you a same-day appointment if that's what's necessary. So as far as services provided, we provide all types of primary care services. So that would include sick and well visits. If you need a physical, we do women's health, gender health. We do all kinds of immunizations. We do have mental health services, and that includes both counseling and psychiatry. We do have a lab, so if you need blood work done, we can do that here. We do have dermatology, pharmacy on site, so you can get all of your prescriptions here. We do have radiology, so x-ray, things like that. Travel health and telehealth visits. So we started doing those a couple of years ago. If that's something that is more convenient to you to see a provider via telehealth versus an in-person visit. And I will mention with these items, we are here if you are sick, if you are injured, if you need a flu shot, if it's kind of like a one-off thing like that. But we also have many primary care physicians who follow their patients for the whole 4 years or 8 years that they're here. They manage long-term conditions and long-term medications. So it can kind of be what you need it to be. If you're in need of a primary care physician that you can kind of stick with for the next 4 years, that is certainly something that we are happy to do. Okay, immunizations available at UHS. I'm not going to read all these, but we provide all of the immunizations that are required for the university, and we provide additionals as well. So some of these people use for traveling. If you need immunization for some other organization, if they require a certain immunization, we offer all of these here at UHS. We also do TB testing, which I'll get into, and we do urine drug screens if that's something that you need for one of your programs. All right, so immunization compliance. All UC students are on any campus, undergraduate, graduate, every student is required to comply with this list of immunizations. Hep B, MMR, Tdap, varicella, which is chickenpox. International students specifically are required to have a TB test, which is a blood draw. And then we do have some that are strongly recommended but not required. COVID, flu each fall, HPV, and MenB. So I'm going to specifically talk about the ones that are required by the university. So we have, the university itself has a policy that all students are required to show proof of immunization towards certain communicable diseases. And this is to protect the campus community as a whole. Infectious diseases are of particular concern to universities because there are a large number of students living together, working together, studying together. There have been recent outbreaks that have occurred on campuses across the United States. So this is just something that the university requires, and the requirements are based upon local, state, and national recommendations. So international students are required to complete a tuberculosis screening upon arrival to UC. This is a mandatory screening. The process briefly is upon arrival, you will call UHS. Our phone number is listed here. And I can send this presentation. You guys, just if you want to circulate it to the students, because it does have some phone numbers and email addresses. So you'll call us for an appointment for a TB screening. Once you call for your appointment, you're going to be required to sign up for a MyChart account. That's just an electronic medical record. You'll be communicated about your appointment and results and things like that through your MyChart account. At your appointment, you're going to fill out a TB screening questionnaire. Depending on your responses to the questionnaire, you will have a blood draw done to test for latent or active tuberculosis. So the deadline for completing that TB screening is 2 weeks from the first day of classes. So that will be September 9th. We've started a week and a half ago. We are doing daily, we call them TB brigades. And from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., this is by appointment. So you'll call and schedule an appointment, but we're doing these screening appointments all day, every day for the next couple of weeks. So make sure you get in there and get your appointment to do that as soon as possible. And then once you do that, so MedProctor is the system that the university uses to manage this immunization process. It's a system that houses all of our immunization data. So you will receive a notification from MedProctor to your UC email address with instructions for setting up an account. Once you do that, we have a standardized immunization form that you can download from MedProctor, or you can download from our website. There's a little picture of the form here. It basically has all of the required university immunizations, and you'll fill in the dates that you received them, titer results, all kinds of things like that. So you'll download that form, register for your MedProctor account, and then make an appointment with your medical provider or a provider here at UHS they can review your immunization records that you might have from childhood, determine what immunizations you still need, administer those immunizations, and then they'll fill out that form, sign it and stamp it, and then you'll upload that completed form to your MedProctor account. And then MedProctor will notify you by email if there are any outstanding items. So the deadline for that, to have all of your university required immunizations uploaded to MedProctor is October 17th for this fall 2022 semester. Again, the deadline for your TB screening is September 9th. That is done separately. The tuberculosis is a serious public health concern, and we need to make sure that students aren't walking around campus with active tuberculosis. So within the first 2 weeks of classes, we need to make sure that all international students come through us to get that screening done. So that is due by the 9th. What's due by this October 17th is just having proof of all the rest of your immunizations uploaded to MedProctor. So if you have questions about MedProctor itself, they have a support chat feature at the bottom of their webpage. If you have questions about immunizations or immunization compliance, you can visit our website, which I've listed here, that has a lot of information about what immunizations are required, deadlines, things like that. You can also email us at uhstracking@ucmail.uc.edu. That email is monitored by a nurse every day, Monday through Friday, so they can answer your specific questions on your specific vaccines and your specific situation. You can also call us at our main number, and you'll select option 2 to speak to a nurse if that is something you need as well. And then just a couple of COVID resources. UC's public health website is the most up-to-date resource on our COVID information. Like I said, as of this semester, the COVID vaccine is not required. It is very strongly recommended. If you do have specific COVID related questions on vaccines or testing or quarantine, anything like that, you can email uccovidcheck@ucmail.uc.edu. And then UHS is offering COVID vaccines or boosters, or if you need to start the series or complete the series, or if you'd like a booster, that is something that we are administering. You would just call our main number and schedule an appointment for that. And that is all I've got. So I will stop sharing my screen so someone else can.
Thank you, Amanda. We appreciate that. I think that's great information, and we'll see if we have any questions at the end of the presentation for you.
Sure, yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
Okay, great. So I'm going to turn it over now to Susan. Susan, are you ready?
Yes, and speaking of technical difficulties, we already discovered one early this morning. So Kamala Kasparian is going to share her screen, and I am going to do the talking. So let's see if we can get this sent up. Excellent. Hello there. I am Susan, and I am here from the UC Public Health Response Team. And you're going to see this number, our hotline number, on every single slide. So if there's one thing that you might want to do this morning is maybe even put that hotline number into your phone, because what we want to do is help you navigate the University of Cincinnati's many amazing public health resources. You can also see on this slide that we are the UC COVID Check email that you will be using if you have any COVID related questions. We are also contact tracers for COVID. So we are also the people that will be contacting you if ever you have been, as COVID develops, if we need to contact you about any kind of exposure, or if you yourself are positive, we will walk you through what happens in that case. You can go ahead and switch the slide, Cam. And then this is just my information in case you have any questions, but we can skip through that one too. All right, so many of you have already had a public health navigator contact you. We contacted you to help you with everything you needed to do to get onto campus as far as public health, with information about TB, COVID testing, etc. And we've heard from several of you, so that's wonderful. What we want to do is to personally respond to any public health inquiry you may have. We have an extensive resource bank. So for example, you've heard about so many different things this morning that are offered at UC. We just want to help you find those things. So all you would have to do is call our hotline or email your personal navigator that has already contacted you, and they will just help you, guide you through all of the different services on campus. We work collaboratively with the public health providers on campus. So for example, we have several collaborations with UHS. We're also going to be helping them out with making sure that students do what they need to do for their TB testing. You will maybe getting your COVID test at Steger, which we also run. So basically what we want to do is just to distribute the information, and we also track public health issues using our database, which is Salesforce. Go ahead for the next slide. So we're here for you with our personalized guidance from our public health navigators, and we want to support the students, the parents, and the faculty with connection to public health resources. Sometimes even professors or other faculty or staff have a difficult time knowing where to guide students. So we are reaching out to everybody to help promote public health literacy. And you can get a hold of us through our hotline, our social media presence, or the Steger location on campus. We also protect our community by contact tracing and offering COVID-19 testing. And we also respond to and manage emergent public health crises. Okay, next one. So these are some of the UC public health services, everything from UHS to TB testing, food services, insurance questions, COVID information, and more. And again, if you find yourself in a situation where you have a question and you just don't quite know where to go, we are your navigators, and we'd be more than happy to help guide you to the correct department that will answer any of your inquiries. Okay, next slide. These are our hours of operation. So you can reach our hotline Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5. Just pick up the phone and somebody will be there to answer. We are also available on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 9 to 1. And then our Steger Testing Center is open Mondays, 6 a.m. for those early risers to 1, Tuesdays, 9 to 12:30, Wednesdays, 2 p.m. to 6:30 now, and Thursday, 1 to 4. Now for 8/19, 8/26, and 9/2, for the next few Fridays, we are going to be open from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30. The reason we're doing this is because if you're going to one of your brigades, we will have at the brigade where you're going to get tested for TB, a little postcard. And that card will show you how to get to Steger, and you can come on over to Steger and get tested for COVID. So you can do both of those things in the same time period. So again, we're the UC University of Cincinnati Public Health Response Team, and we're really excited to help you guys navigate the system. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Susan. We appreciate you coming in and taking some time to share that information with us. I think that we are now at the Q&A part of our session. And so do we have any questions there in the chat that we need to answer right now? Okay, I'm not seeing one, but I will go ahead and ask a couple of questions on your behalf. What happens if my visa expires while I'm in the US?
Well, it's a good question. If we're talking about the visa stamp, the sticker in your passport that you receive from the US Embassy, that's allowed to expire. As we indicated earlier, that's merely a travel entry permit to let you into the US. While you're in the US, that stamp has no importance, really. It's not your permission to stay in the US. It's merely your permission to enter the US as long as you have the other documents available to enter the US. And so we have several students here who have expired visa stamps from several years ago. It's perfectly fine. The only time that visa stamp becomes important is if you ever leave the US and you want to come back to the US. At that point, you'll need to spend some time on your trip overseas at a US Embassy to get a new visa stamp put into your passport. There are some exceptions to this rule. So for example, if you go to Canada or Mexico and your trip is less than 30 days in length, it is possible for most students, not all, but most students, to go overseas to Canada or Mexico and re-enter the US on that expired visa stamp, again, if all your other documents are in order. If you have questions about that particular process, you can always refer to our travel signature request e-form in iBearcats Global or our website.
Okay, can I renew my visa or passport inside the US?
Sarah?
Yeah, so your visa is not something you can renew from inside the US. Like James talked about, it's merely a travel document. If you do decide to travel after your visa expires, you'll need to make an appointment at your home country's U.S. Embassy or consulate and renew it there. Your passport, however, is something you can renew from inside the U.S. at your home country's embassy or consulate inside the U.S. Typically, those are out in Washington, D.C., Chicago. You'll contact your home country's embassy and ask for the processing of your new visa or your new passport, and they'll help you with that. So again, visa okay to expire, only needs to be renewed and can only be renewed outside the U.S. Passport, you do want to keep that up to date and is something you can take care of inside the U.S. without traveling.
Thank you, Sarah. What do I need to go home and come back to the US?
Well, you'll need a valid passport. You'll need your I-20 or DS 2019 signed for travel, which you can request through iBearcats Global. And depending on where you're going, if you're going to go home, most likely you're going to need a valid visa stamp to re-enter the US. The travel signature on your I-20 or DS 2019 is valid for 12 months from the date it's been signed for travel or until your I-20 or DS 2019 expires, whichever is soonest.
Okay, how do I get a new I-20 if my major changes?
Yeah, that's a great question. So like most of our services, iBearcats Global is the place to go. If you need to update your major on your I-20 or your DS 2019, you can do that with the Sources of Financial Support for Currently Enrolled Students e-form in iBearcats Global. You'll answer a few questions, let us know what your new major is, and we'll send you a new I-20 electronically or print a new DS 2019 for you to pick up in our office.
Okay, how do I go about getting a social security number?
Well, social security numbers, for those who don't know, are tax ID numbers used for payroll and taxation purposes. And because they're used for those purposes, one must have a job on campus in order to apply for a social security number. And so once you have found a job on campus, and we have a session coming up soon about how to find jobs on campus, we'll assist you in the process of getting you into the UC payroll system. And then once that has been processed, we'll give you the information and the documents you need to apply for a social security number. You can start work on campus after we put you into the UC payroll system while your social security number application is pending. And eventually when you get your social security number, you can update that with our office so we can then update your payroll information. But for now, you don't need one for any other purpose other than getting an on-campus job. Some people off campus will ask you for your social security number for things like electricity bills or bank accounts. They don't need those numbers, and they can use other numbers that you may have, like a passport number, to create the accounts that you're looking for.
Okay, what do I do if my local address changes?
Yeah, so like we talked about, keeping your local address and phone number up to date with our office is part of maintaining your immigration record. When you're here as a current student, it's as simple as going to Catalyst under the My Profile tile. You'll want to make sure to update your Cincinnati, your local address with your mailing address. That's the one that you need to keep your local address up to date. So if you do move, make sure to go in there and change it so that we're kept up to date with where you're living. That will feed into our iBearcats Global system, which then feeds into the government system.
All right, how do I get a driver's license?
You seriously want to drive here? Yeah, I understand that. Getting a driver's license is a good form of ID, but also necessary if you want to drive here in the US. The Ohio driver's license that you'll obtain is good for any state in the US. You can even drive in Canada or Mexico temporarily. To get a driver's license, what you'll need to do is wait until you have registered for classes and you're active in iBearcats Global. That should only take a few days after the start of classes have taken place. You can then submit a request at iBearcats Global for a driver's license letter. We'll then issue the letter for you. We'll send it to you electronically. You can then take that along with your passport and I-20 to a local Bureau of Motor Vehicles in the area. We've got several in the city of Cincinnati. You'll take a test. It'll be a written test. There'll be a physical test where you drive the car around the streets or around the parking lot. And if you pass, then you'll be given a Ohio driver's license. Now, keep in mind, it will expire on the date that your I-20 expires. And so unfortunately, Ohio will not give you any additional time. If you extend your I-20, you can then extend your driver's license. If you then go on to optional practical training and you get your 12-month work permit after graduation, Ohio will extend it until the expiration date of the card. Now, some of you will know that you have a 60-day grace period that you can then leave the US within 60 days of your F1 status ending or 30 days after your J1 student status has ended. Unfortunately, Ohio will not extend your driver's license into those grace periods. It's very frustrating. So keep in mind that if you have plans for during the grace period, you're going to have someone drive you around during that grace period. But simply put, obtain the letter from our system, take your documents to the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, take the test, obtain your driver's license. We even have handbooks here in our office that explain the rules of the road so you can be better prepared for your test.
James, could you also just additionally speak about a state ID rather than a driving license?
Sure, certainly. And you may want to apply for a state ID card because it's a lot safer than carrying your passport around everywhere. At the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, they also issue not only driver's licenses, but also state ID cards. And so to obtain one of those, come and get a certification of enrollment letter that you can request through iBearcats Global. Take your documents along with your letter and also prove that you do live in Ohio. And I apologize, I should have mentioned that for the Bureau of Motor Vehicles driver's license request as well. In order to obtain a driver's license as well as a state ID, you need to prove that you live in Ohio. Typically, a couple of pieces of mail that has your name and address on there is sufficient. So if you have an electricity bill, a landlord contract, anything that shows that you are receiving mail at a certain location here in Ohio is sufficient to get one of those two things. There is no test for the state ID. You just walk in, get your picture taken, and obtain the student ID card. The state ID card, sorry.
Trying to unmute myself. Okay, I think that we're at the end of this main portion of our presentation. And I do want to remind everyone that we do have some breakout rooms. Oh, someone's asking if it's free. The driving license and the state ID both have fees attached.
They do, and I can't remember what the fees are. If you send an email to our international.students@uc.edu with your question, we will look that up for you and get that response to you.
Okay, and somebody is saying my phone doesn't seem to work properly. I can't make calls and receive and send messages. Doesn't sound like your phone is working, Florian. Is there any way to make a TV appointment other than by calling UC Health Services? Could I stop by in person or send an email?
Yes, we can't make the appointment via email, but you can certainly come to the clinic in person. You would just walk up to the front desk registration. They would schedule an appointment for you and you'd come back at the appointment time.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, I think then we're ready to paste the links to our breakout sessions in the chat and get those going for you. Again, one of our breakout sessions is student success at a US university. That will be Kelly's presentation. And then Andrea from our office will also be talking about on-campus employment. And both of those links are now pasted into the chat. So if you're ready to leave the main presentation and head over to those, Kelly's leaving this space right now and hopping into her space. And we thank you guys for coming. Please let us know if there are any questions that you might have. We're here to support you. We're here to help you. We're here to guide you. And so please reach out if you need anything. Appreciate your participation today. And remember that this presentation will appear on YouTube as soon as the recording has rendered. And we will put that out there for you. The link will be on our website and we'll put it in the newsletter for you as well. And Sarah is wishing you all the best of luck next week as classes begin on Monday. So thank you again and head on out to those breakout rooms. Bye, everyone. Sarah, you could stop the recording.
Okay.